All right. So, today it is, I don't know, 80 degrees outside and 80 degrees in my house. I spent 4 hours today doing gutters, um, at my stepmom's, where I was in the heat. We've got terrible smoke from the Canadian wildfires and maybe Minnesota wildfires and all the wildfires that seem to be just everywhere but Michigan right now. I'm kind of keeping an eye on that. For some reason, I feel like it's just gonna come here. It's gonna be the year that it crosses the water. But hopefully not. Hopefully it doesn't spread to you. Because there's
We
some
have
in
smoke though.
Wisconsin. Yeah,
Oh, I did
there's
not
some.
know that.
I look at a map and there's some in Wisconsin, so it's like right above. It's right above ya.
Oh,
Um,
they're coming for me. No, that's so scary.
and
No,
you're
we have smoke
landlocked.
too.
See, I'm like water. Water. That's the
You
good
can
part.
go on a boat. You can get away.
Water. I'm not like on the edges at this current moment. But as you can see, my curtains are all drawn. And it's because it's keeping the heat out because of the smoke. I had to unplug my window AC unit, and I would love to be like, it's a regular one. I didn't need to unplug it because people who have regular window units don't have to do that. But mine is not. It like pulls outside air and like cools it and then pushes it around. And so I woke up to like my living room smelling like a Canadian wildfire. So had to shut the window, pull it out, and yeah, it's like 80 in here. And so it's hot. Um, I'm sweaty. I'm tired. So if I seem a little bit, and I think I like have dirt on my face from I literally haven't showered since I did the gutters this morning. So um I do have dirt like everywhere. It's fine. It's
Oh
fine.
my
So
gosh.
we're just going with this today.
In the
Um
heat too. The fact that you did
in the
that in the
heat.
heat, that is
Oh yeah.
determination.
Well, it wasn't okay. So when I went over there at 8 o'clock in the morning, it wasn't 80, it wasn't 91 degrees or whatever it was today. Um, but then I had a coffee date with a friend, and so I like had to go over meet her. So I had to I rinsed off after the first dirt bath and then changed my clothes, met her for coffee, talked to her for like an hour, and then went back and changed my clothes back. And which was funny because my clothes were still soaking wet from like taking them off the first, like from because I was like hosing down the gutter. We're like, this was like, it really needed to be scrubbed out. Tip for any homeowner, if your gutters are really bad, once you scrape all the gunk out, all the dirt, the sediment, the shingle particles, the maple helicopters. That's what this was.
No,
Not drums. This was helicopters. Um, so once you get all that out, like if you take dish soap and water and actually like scrub it, and then these had gutter guards, so we had to take the gutter guards off, like clean it all out, and then put the gutter guards back. But like once you scrub it out, it should stay. Like it helps the sediment flow very smoothly, like down the plastic or the metal or whatever it is that your gutters are made of. And but that like takes time. So you have to like scrub with soap and water. And soap's going everywhere and dirt's going everywhere. And you're up there with the hose and you're spraying and it's going. And which is fine because in the heat, like if I'm gonna be in the heat, like and I'm not being sprayed with water, I'm not happy. Like I want to be either in the
yeah.
water next to, well, no, I just want to be in the water. So I'm not even gonna lie to you and say I want to be next to the water. I want to be in the water or sprayed with water, and that's it. Like
Yeah.
otherwise, don't put me in the heat. Don't
Yeah,
put
no.
me in the hot environment.
Yeah,
But
no, people that think the cold is better than the heat or is worse than the heat irk me because like heat is so bad. Like
I don't
excessive
like
heat.
cold either. I don't
Really?
like that. I just want water, Hannah. I maybe I'm like one of the characters in our movie. I just want to be in the water. So I
Are you a dolphin?
I might be a dolphin. Because I will literally, and I have literally spent 8 hours in a pool. I was so pruny, like
Uh,
embarrassingly old lady pruny from being in a pool for that long. Like I just like literally I had lunch delivered to the pool. I was in the pool. I think I got out of the pool to like read a couple chapters or something or of a book or like it was really rare though, but I spent most of the time in the pool and like the people who I was with were like, "Are you ever gonna get out of the pool?" And I was just like, "Not today."
I
So
mean, that's
how I
fair though. Yeah.
how I spend my day. Like, why would you? There's nothing else
Water's
to do anyway.
awesome. Water's
Um,
great.
yeah, I'm just like I should just live in water. I've often dreamt about having a houseboat or um
Oh.
yeah, like just being like one of those. There's an entire tribe that just like lives on like these like interlocking like rafts that are
Oh.
barely rafts. They're like
Oh.
just kind of like poles connecting to each other. And then they just like spend most of their time in the water. Like I think 60% to 80% of their life is spent in the water. And they're actually notorious for like being able to hold their breath really long time and like free dive. I could do that. I'm great at holding my breath for a very long time. Please don't kidnap me and bury me alive to test it. But like I I feel like this is public. I have to say things like that. Let's not find out. Don't put me underwater for against my will. I will
Report it.
panic and drown. But normally, if I'm not panicking, I will hold my breath for a very long time. And anyway, so I don't really know
Oh,
where the story was going because I went off on I love being underwater tangent. Um
little new fact unlocked. Allie can hold her
it's
breath really long.
it's yes. Yes,
No,
I am
you could be a mermaid.
on a beach day. I am the coolest person in the world because I can inflate every device you need inflated. Like I have the
Yeah.
lung capacity to be able to do that. It's probably from
Period.
singing since I was a kid or something, or just being full of hot air, as my family would probably tell you, which is why I have a podcast. Welcome to my life. Oh
Oh,
boy.
that's awesome though. Oh my gosh. Ugh. Water's so good. I love water too. I'm really bad at swimming, but I do love water. I play
We gotta fix
mermaids.
that.
Yeah,
We
no, I'm
gotta fix
really
that.
bad at
You
swimming. Yeah.
can't play mermaids if you can't swim, Hannah.
No, I just go up until it's like right here, like right below the chest. That's how far I go.
Oh, okay. Like we can't see that, so you just looks like you're holding a guitar because you were like this. I was like, the water comes to your guitar and then you're
Yeah. Yeah.
that's what it looks like you were trying to tell us. Like the water
I'm
just
glad
needs
you
to
got the
come to your
point
guitar.
though. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're listening to Millennial Meets Gen Z 90's edition, the podcast where one of us grew up with the movies, music, and pop culture of the 90's, and the other one's discovering it for the first time. I'm Allison, the Millennial.
I'm Hannah, the Gen Z, and I got new Wi-Fi, guys. So hopefully I don't break up as much.
It just broke up a little bit just to like really spite you. So just want
Oh,
to say that
I'm keeping that in too.
it's like really it was like, does she though? Well, each
No, guys,
week
I got AT&T, not T-Mobile.
each week we rewind a different piece of the 90's culture to see what still holds up, what definitely doesn't, spoiler, and why these stories still stick with us today. So whether you've lived through it or are just discovering it now for the first time, let's rewind. So our movie of the week was Ace Ventura: Pet Detective from 1994. So before I get into this movie of the week, I actually wanted to try and talk about what was going on during 1999 so that like you are getting an idea of the pop culture and the lifestyle of the times. Does that sound good?
Yeah, that sounds awesome. Okay.
Okay, I should have looked up like what gas prices were, and actually maybe I still will. $1.11. And I actually remember when it hit $1 and we were all like, so expensive. So,
Oh my God. Oh, now it's like 4 or 5.
but the things going on in 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend Ron Goldman were murdered in Brentwood, California, and a low-speed chase of a white Ford Bronco was watched by 95 million viewers, followed by one of the most highly publicized murder trials in history, a double murder trial against the actor and former football player O.J. Simpson.
Oh
This,
my God, I didn't even
if
know.
the glove don't fit, you must acquit, Hannah. Anyway, this launched the rise of the Kardashians because Robert Kardashian was one of his defense attorneys on his team. Uh,
Oh,
so
okay, I didn't
that's
know
where
that.
I'm
Never
so
mind. I
sorry.
don't take it back.
1994, if you're anti-Kardashian, 1994 was the start of it all. So we're revisiting.
I do.
There was also a strike in Major League Baseball. There was like a big labor dispute, which caused the cancellation of the postseason and of the World Series for the first time in 90 years. So no World Series
Oh,
canceled. Nirvana's Kurt Cobain committed suicide, drug related suicide, and that was like a big thing. Kurt Cobain dying was a really big thing. Across the globe, sorry, I got a little bit more bad news. Across the globe, well, actually, good news first. Nelson Mandela was elected in South Africa, so the apartheid ended. He was like finally released from being held captive, and the apartheid ended, which is like racial segregation in South Africa. And he navigated them out of the white minority rule, which is what was happening, and it was became a multiracial democracy. So that was good for South Africa
that is
and the
good.
world. Nelson Mandela, good guy. In Rwanda, unfortunately, the Tutsis and the Hutus were slaughtered over 100 days in a Rwandan genocide. A really good movie that covers that is Hotel Rwanda. It's a very hard watch, but it's a very important watch. So if anybody wants to see a movie related that will impact your life forever, Hotel Rwanda is a good movie. As much as like a movie about genocide can be. Like it's well done. It's impactful. When I say good, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Um,
that's fair. Is it
yeah, I
like,
don't want to be like, it was a great movie. I ate
yeah,
popcorn. No, I did not. I was just like sitting like this the entire time.
yeah,
So
that's fair. Is it like the same level of sadness as like Boy in the Striped Pajamas?
I never actually saw Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It's been sitting in my queue since it came out.
Oh my
So
God.
I think it's probably sadder. Like
Okay.
I think I have an idea about Boy in the Striped Pajamas just from like the trailer and having it in my queue for so long. I think it's sad. I think it's like impactful. I think that this is like, I mean, this was horrific. This was more, we are going to eventually be watching some impactful movies. I'm trying to look at our schedule right now as to when it's coming. Um, because didn't we have in here, maybe it's not on our schedule yet. It might not be on our schedule yet. There are some impactful movies that we will be watching that will kind of be around the same type of feel, but it's important. So they're on our list for a reason. Okay. On TV, gonna switch from Rwandan genocide to Friends. Friends was on TV. I'm so sorry. It's a really bad transition. I had none, apparently. I moved stuff around and then I didn't contemplate the fact that that would not transition well. Friends in ER, though, debuted on NBC in 1994, so that was a big deal. And those both lasted for, I mean, ER went forever. I never got into it. So sorry, the people that were like really big ER snobs. Uh, Sorry, ER watchers. You're not really
No, I
snobs.
didn't know it went on for that long. I've like
I
heard of it, but I didn't know what it was like long.
It went for a very long time. It's kind of like Grey's Anatomy, like where people are just like, "Oh, are you into Grey's?" Like, I'm like, "No,
Yeah,
sorry. I watch
yeah.
House." It's not the same. Um, but in theaters, other blockbuster movies that year included The Lion King, Forrest Gump, Pulp Fiction, and The Shawshank Redemption. So those are some of the movies that hit that year. Anyway, are you ready to rewind?
Yes, I know. I want to see Pulp Fiction so bad. So bad. I don't know like what it's about. I've just heard so many good things about it.
It's like overhyped. It's good. It's not that good. It's fine.
Oh,
I'm so
okay.
sorry. People are like very, I think Pulp Fiction is overhyped for like very particular reasons.
Okay.
And
Okay.
I don't think it's a master class in cinema, but
Okay.
you know, people come at me in the comments for that. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Um, I'm not attacking you if you like Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is a good movie. It's just not, it's like not one of my, it's not in my top 10. Sorry. But there's also a lot of movies to put in your top 10, and it's hard. Maybe it didn't hit me in the right way. I don't know. Anyway, Shawshank Redemption, I think, is a very good movie. Um, okay, so our movie today, the synopsis is in the 1994 classic Ace Ventura Pet Detective, an eccentric animal investigator Jim Carrey is hired to find the Miami Dolphins' kidnapped mascot, a dolphin named Snowflake. Does not make any sense for a dolphin to be named Snowflake. His frantic search leads him to uncover a sinister revenge plot targeting the team's quarterback and the police chief. I watched this on Tubi. It was free. Other places, it might have been a rental. Um, if you're gonna go watch it, see if you can get Tubi first.
Tubi's awesome. And you could watch it as a guest too, which is like great. You don't even have to log in.
Oh, well, I just logged in. I don't know how I got access. I was just told it was free. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Awesome.
what did you think of this one, Hannah? And have you seen Jim Carrey in a movie before?
Yeah, I saw him in the Truman Show. Um,
Mm,
yeah.
okay.
I saw him in the Truman Show. First and foremost, on the topic of Jim Carrey, his mannerisms freak me the heck out. Like him and that like weird eyebrow thing he does where he's like
Okay.
and like
So,
this uh-uh.
so wait a minute. You've only seen him in the Truman Show, so you've never seen crazy Jim Carrey.
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. Yeah. 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 Um, yeah, we'll talk more about that.
Is it so I'm assuming oh god,
This
so
is
okay, so this is like
this is
crazy
him.
Jim Carrey.
This is crazy. Well, okay, there's two types of crazy Jim Carrey, right? So anybody who knows anything about Jim Carrey like knows there's two types. There's early Jim Carrey, then he went through the series phase, and then he went through like an obsession with Emma Stone phase. And I feel like that is crazy Jim Carrey number two. So crazy Jim Carrey
I've
number
heard
one,
Emma Stone.
crazy Jim Carrey number two. He's like weird. I don't know.
Yeah,
I've always thought he was weird, but
yeah, yeah.
very
His
weird.
I don't know. His acting style freaks me out a little bit because of his weird facial expressions. But my favorite part of this whole movie was probably one where he was talking through his butt. He was making his butt talk. I just thought that was so funny. I was like, this is
What
so
was your
uncomfortable.
favorite part?
It was so funny. And then I
Is this
think you'll,
before or after you called me a butthole? This was after, I think.
this is after. Butthole is
She,
my favorite
I think
phrase.
people need to know that I don't remember even why you did this. Oh, I didn't like something and you called me a butthole. What did I not like? And I was like, first of all, I feel like you're reaching into the 90's slang to call me a butthole. I'm regretting teaching you anything about the 90's. And then second of all, I'm not a butthole.
And then she used my own word against me like 3 days later.
Yeah, I did call you a butthole 3 days later. I can't
Oh,
remember though what you called me a butthole about, but
it was like, was it something movie or food related? Yeah, it was something you didn't like that like I'm obsessed with. And I was like, you
yeah, but I
butthole.
don't remember what it was.
I
Like
don't remember either. That was so funny. But no,
anyway.
I liked when he was talking through his butthole. And also the scene where he had to prove to his landlord that there were no animals in his
Yes.
apartment. And then they all came out of everywhere, including the toilet, The toilet one was like the most peculiar to me. That was my favorite part because I was like, oh, like you're a pet detective, obviously, you're saving animals. I just did not think it'd
I'm
be that
sorry.
many.
The otter coming out of the toilet was well, let's talk about what else comes out of other places, and I will tell you, and I'll be like, really? The otter was what? Really? Let's talk about this. So what, well, before we get into it, what's your rating out of 10?
7 out of 10.
7. Okay. I think that's fair. If you had given it a higher rating, I would have been like, I don't think so.
Yeah, no. See,
I
like I
will.
liked it, but like it's not my favorite. You know what I mean? Like it's not my favorite movie, but it was like good enough to be better than Rookie of the Year.
Butthole. First of all, Rookie of the Year is 100 times better than Jim Carrey's Ace Ventura. The second, because it's so freaking funny. And then second of all, like, I mean, I wouldn't even give it, I would give Ace Ventura like a 5. Like, Ace Ventura is important for the 90's. Like, Jim Carrey, and we'll get into some of his other movies. I'm trying to space them out because, as you can tell, he's not always my favorite. The Truman Show was one of my absolute favorite movies. There's a few movies that he's done that I love. I just love them. Truman Show is one of them. I think it even came out on my birthday or something. Like, I don't remember, but I think I saw it for my birthday or something. I don't remember. But I really loved that movie. It was very good. It was impactful. It was good. Um, but Jim Carrey is like a necessary thing to understand about the 90's. If we get a chance, we'll also do a clip of In Living Color, which we'll talk about later. Um, which has him just so that you can understand. But he he is a big part of the 90's, so you cannot skip his movies. Otherwise, I would not have watched this movie. It is not, which is funny because things that he says made it into my vocabulary. However, uh, I watched this movie like once or twice as a kid and never again. So I
Really?
was like, yeah, I never wanted to revisit it. I actually put off watching this movie for as long as possible this last week. Because I was like, I don't want to. I just don't want to.
That's
Where
fair.
our next movie, I will be probably watching tonight or tomorrow or every day for the next like 10 years. But that's another story. We'll get to that later. No spoilers. All right, so let's rewind. Well, this was written by Jack Bernstein, who wrote this and its sequel. He also did write episodes of She Spies, NCIS, Monk, Royal Pains, and The Good Cop. So, like a bunch of those, I actually love those things. Now the screenplay itself was written by him, Tom Shadyac, and Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey himself wrote a bunch of stand-up, so he was a stand-up comedian. So he had stand-up specials, and then he wrote several episodes of In Living Color, which he was in. Halfway through him being in them, he started writing episodes and started submitting information for scripts and things like that. Um, Now, Tom Shadyac, who co-wrote the screenplay, was also the director. So he directed, and he was known for directing things like The Nutty Professor, Liar Liar, which is another movie with Jim Carrey, Patch Adams with Robin Williams, Bruce Almighty with Jim Carrey, which I loved Bruce Almighty. That is one of my favorite Jim Carrey movies. And then Evan Almighty with Steve Carell, didn't like that one. And I Am, which I've never seen.
I'm
So
writing Bruce Almighty.
Bruce Almighty is a great Jim Carrey movie. Not it's a little crazy Jim Carrey, but like it was like it came out in the 2000, I think it came out in 2000, and it was very like good movie because it was nostalgic to the crazy Jim Carrey, but also had the good, maybe it was like mid 2000s, but it also had like the good sweet side. Plus, that's Jennifer
Mm.
Aniston, and like, who doesn't like Jennifer Aniston?
Oh, I love Jennifer Aniston. Yes,
Right?
I love her.
Um, So anyway, so we open on a delivery man walking down a sidewalk. He's tossing the fragile package around, running it along everything, slamming it against things, and we hear the glass inside breaking. At this time, this is kind of how we imagine package delivery was, as packages were often showing up to your house broken, things were not handled properly. This is not uncommon. Well, he goes inside the
Like
building
beating that
and
up.
yeah, he goes inside the building and the elevator doors like crush it. And then he finally goes in and gets off on the floor and kicks it down the hall. He gets to the door and knocks, and a man with a dog answers. He's very grumpy. He gives the broken package to the man and he has him sign an insurance form because he's going to have to submit an insurance form for whatever was in the package. And so the man is like, you know, signing it as uh this guy bends down to pet the dog and then he quickly leaves. He takes the form quickly and leaves. The man goes back inside his apartment and it's evident that the delivery guy took the dog and left a stuffed dog in its place. When the guy finally notices that that it's a stuffed dog, the tag says he's been had by Ace Ventura Pet Detective. He flips out. Now Ace Ventura calls that guy as he's walking down the street, Allahu Zahar, which I totally forgot. That's where I got this from because I say that sometimes, and I did not remember that that was Jim Carrey. I don't know why. Then gets in the car, feeds the dog from a cool contraption he pulls down, and he tries to start the car. As they wait for the car to start, the guy he stole from catches up with them and starts smashing out the windows.
How,
Ace
how
Ventura.
did he catch up? It was scary. He just like popped out of nowhere.
I know. And the thing is like he parked around a corner and like didn't see the guy walking down the street, so I don't really know, but
Yeah.
I don't know. Blind rage, I guess he found him. Ace Ventura asks for a push to get it started and then goes, no. Alrighty then. Uh, which I'm not Jim Carrey. That's why I can't do that very well. Now, Ace Ventura is played by Jim Carrey. So let's get into his acting credits. So now in the early 90's, like I said, he was in Living Color. After he did this, the same year he put out like the same year as this movie, he put out The Mask and he put out Dumb and Dumber. The next year he put out in 95 he put out Batman Forever, Ace Ventura When Nature Calls, the sequel. In 1996, he put out The Cable Guy. In 1997 was Liar Liar. 98 was The Truman Show and How the Grinch Stole Christmas. 2001, he was in The Majestic. In 2003, it was Bruce Almighty. That was the one that I really loved. In 2004, he put Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind and a series of unfortunate events, which I find super creepy. That one is like, that is my creepy. I won't watch that with Jim Carrey. Once I saw it, it freaked out. Yeah, that's the Jim Carrey that gives me nightmares, is a series of unfortunate events.
Thought it was about like children in an academy with powers for whatever reason.
No, that's a different book series where the kid goes back. What is that series?
You know
It's
what?
like
Yeah.
with Miss Peregrine.
Yeah. It's that. That's what I was thinking of. That's a good series. I like the Fire Girl. I know there's like a Fire Girl in it,
Yeah, it
and
was did you read the book or did you it's
I read
that's
the books.
Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children or
Yes,
whatever. Yeah.
that one. Yes, I've read that.
That that book series and movie is very good.
Okay.
That is not the same as a series of unfortunate events. A series of unfortunate events is a book series and a movie, and I'll let you watch it. You tell me what you think.
See, I don't think I'd like that. I'm not gonna lie. I have no interest in watching that. I'm
Jim
okay.
Carrey kidnapping kids? You don't like that? What?
No, no. Okay, he
Um,
freaked me out enough.
yeah. So then in 2005 he was in Fun with Dick and Jane. In 2008 he was in Horton Hears a Who and Yes Man. I loved Yes Man. That was a good movie. In 2009, he was in I Love You, Philip Morris and A Christmas Carol. He did appear in The Office as well. After that, he was in Mr. Popper's Penguins. After that, Kick-Ass 2, Anchorman 2, Dumb and Dumber 2, Sonic the Hedgehog, Kidding, and SNL. Apparently, there's also a Sonic the Hedgehog 4 coming out because he did 1, 2, 3, and now there's a number 4 coming out next year, as well as there's supposed to be eventually a Grinch sequel that I guess he's working on right now.
Oh, I
So.
did not know there were 4 Sonic the Hedgehogs. I feel like that's a bit much. Why do we need so many Sonic the Hedgehogs?
No
I did
idea.
not. Yeah, I
I
didn't
like
know
the
he
video
did that.
game. The movie, the cartoon was good. I don't know about the movie. Well, the gruff guy that we saw is played by Randall Texcop, who was a former boxer and he was an actor. He was known for his role in Raising Arizona, which is one of the Nick Cage movies that I actually like. So sorry. I'm like just gonna be throwing unpopular opinions out here like crazy. I hate Nick Cage's movies except for Raising Arizona and maybe like one or two others. He was also in Naked Gun 33 and a third. He was also in Uncommon Valor, and then he was in Jim Carrey's movie Liar Liar. Now, Ace Ventura gets the car started and bites the guy's hand after the dog bites the guy's hand. And then they lose the guy off the back of the car, and we see a sign for a lost Shih Tzu. Now, Ace Ventura takes the dog back to its owner, the ex of the guy we just saw. And she asks how she can repay him, and he asks for a reward to pay for damage to his car. She kisses him and offers to take off his pants instead. He agrees to that. Now, this is where I was like, I watched this as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did I think was happening then? Because I know that I didn't know. So, like, because I think I was probably like 9.
Oh,
And, like, what did I think was happening?
yeah,
No,
what?
no idea.
I feel like this is a very uncomfortable movie to watch as a 9-year-old. Like there are just some
I mean,
references
the
and
rest
such.
of it wasn't uncomfortable. I don't know. It was
Yeah.
normal as a, I think it was normal as a kid in the 90s. So, like, sex was on TV. That's
Huh.
normal. There wasn't, kids went into movies all the time that were PG-13. Like, you had to, like, take a parent or whatever, but parents often weren't micromanaging what their kids were watching.
Oh
They
my God,
weren't
yeah, no,
micromanaging what we were doing. Why would they micromanage what we were watching?
that's fair. I love when we like talk about our different childhoods because like I wasn't even allowed to really watch PG-13 movies until I was like 12. Like a
Now,
lot.
I had a couple friends whose parents were very particular because they were religious or what have you. Like I had friends that couldn't watch Harry Potter. I had friends that um couldn't or read Harry Potter. Some of them couldn't go anywhere. I mean, like I knew one girl whose like mom would show up like randomly to check on her in high school when we were in high school. As a
Oh,
kid though, like I didn't have a lot of friends who were like super strict about it. Like a lot of parents who were super strict about it. So a lot of kids like we just watch stuff. It's very possible that my younger neighbor watched this with me.
oh,
So I'm just like, he probably didn't know what was going on either.
yeah,
All we knew is there was a guy saving animals. That's what we
uh,
knew.
yeah. Okay,
So, anyways,
he has
I
a
don't know,
cool
but
job. I'll give it
I
to
did
him.
like see that scene and I was like, I had to like think about this for a minute because I was like, I know I didn't know, but I wondered what I thought because I cannot remember what I thought about that. I probably
Yeah.
thought she was just being crazy. Like, because he's like wiggling around and stuff. Anyway, somewhere else at an aquarium tank near a stadium, a man was feeding a dolphin, and people end up stealing the dolphin and hauling it away. We see Ace Ventura pull up to an apartment building, get out with the groceries, and sneak by a window to head inside. As going in, his landlord catches up with him. He owes rent. Ace Ventura says he's on a big case, a pigeon for 25K, and the landlord accuses him of having pets inside of his apartment. And Ace says he doesn't have any animals, and his landlord says, then what is all that pet food for in the bag he's holding? And Ace says, fiber. And then he invites him in and to see that he doesn't have pets, and then he jiggles the key in the lock a few times before letting him in, which I thought they would bring back in the like as an adult watching this movie, not remembering anything. Um, I thought that they would have done that again as like a to show the party trick a little bit more. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's so cool.
they
Yeah, that's why I
open the
like that
door.
part so much.
You're gonna do that with your cats. So you're gonna like teach them to like hide when you jiggle.
I don't think my cats are smart enough. I wish. I love them, but Luna's smart. I don't know if Storm has the capabilities to hide.
Well, inside the apartment, it's pristine, and his landlord sees nothing. Um, Now, his landlord is played by Mark Margolis, who is known for Pie, Requiem for a Dream, and Stand Up Guys. Now, the landlord doesn't believe him, though. He's like, but there's nothing there, so he leaves. And once he leaves, shuts the door and whistles, shuts the door in his face, and then whistles. A dog appears, and birds fly from everywhere. An otter comes out of the toilet, which is the part that Hannah thought was weird. A skunk comes out of the laundry, a monkey from the bread box, a squirrel from a can of nuts, an iguana from a dresser drawer, a raccoon from the trash, and this was the weirdest one I thought, was the penguins from the fridge. How do you keep things in your fridge if penguins live there? You
Okay,
thought
that's so
the
fair.
otter out of the toilet, and then you didn't think the penguins marching out of the refrigerator was
Yeah.
weird?
Well, okay, honestly, I didn't
Those are
necessarily
not
like keep
even
track
on
of
the
every
continent.
animal.
Those are not even animals that are on the continent in which he lives. And you're like, oh, the otter was the one that was weird.
No, but like how see like with the otter, how
Penguins
was it like deep? Like I have so many questions about how like did
just was
that.
sitting in the toilet bowl.
But like that's disgusting and that freaks me out.
Well, keep your toilet clean, I guess. I don't know. But penguins are living. It's not disgusting to have penguins living with your food.
That's but penguins are cute. I just don't like otters.
They came out of the refrigerator. There was a hole in the refrigerator where they live full time.
See, if I could keep a penguin though in my
You
refrigerator,
don't like otters? Wait, my brain just caught that. What's wrong with otters? They're not groundhogs, Hannah.
I'm starting to realize I don't
They
think
sleep and
I like
they sleep on their backs and they hold each other's hands. And you're like, I don't like otters.
I don't think I like what are they're not like rodents. Are they
Marsupials?
rodents? Yeah, I don't think I like any animal like that. Like I just like don't.
Like
I
a
don't
kangaroo?
like ugh, no, I definitely don't like kangaroos either.
Koala? How can you hate a koala?
No,
They're
koalas are
freaking
creepy. Koalas are creepy. If you look really close up at their eyes, they go in different directions. And that's creepy.
You're a butthole.
Twice! She's stealing my phrase.
That's not your phrase. You weren't even born in the 90's when this was a thing.
I created it. I'm the originator. I'm gonna copyright it. Get copyrighted,
Good luck.
guys.
Good luck going to going to court trying to copyright butthole. I don't think you're gonna win that one.
Probably not.
Oh boy. Well, at the football stadium, the owner is mad about how did they lose a 500-pound fish. A man and a woman are at a table getting yelled at about how the athletes need their heads in the right place. They're all superstitious, and the fish can't be missing right before the Super Bowl. Obviously, not a fish. It's a mammal. 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks to go to the Super Bowl, and then they're questioning if maybe an animal rights group has stolen this dolphin. Well, the woman Melissa is played by Courtney Cox, who most people know for her role as Monica in Friends, but she was also in Scream, like all the Scream movies. She was also in Family Ties with Michael J. Fox, 3,000 Miles to Graceland, The Longest Yard, Cougar Town, to name a few things. Cougar Town, I love that one. It was a really great show. So, highly recommend. And then once you're done with Cougar Town, then you have to go to one of my favorite shows that's on right now, Shrinking. Because you'll take one person from Cougar Town and see them again. So anyway. But not Courtney Cox. Well, Roger is played by Troy Evans, who was known for Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, Under Siege, The Frighteners, and Demolition Man. This is the other guy that was with the woman getting yelled at. He was known in the original Teen Wolf with Michael J. Fox, Men at Work, China Beach, Ed, Phenomenon, and a couple episodes of Boy Meets World. He was in My Favorite Martian, the newer 90's movie. He was in ER, so probably worked with the writer. And Bosch. He was recently in Bosch. Well, Melissa asked the secretary if the police have called back yet, and she says no, but she wanted to mention that when she lost her dog, she hired a pet detective, and she tells them that he is quite good. Now, on the roof, Ace sees a pigeon. He leaps for it and falls from the roof into the trash as his beeper goes off. He drives up to the stadium, goes inside to meet with Melissa. She tells him about their mascot was stolen. Ace watches a video of Snowflake practicing tricks with a football as he's eating sunflower seeds and spinning the shells onto her desk. She offers him an ashtray for his discards, and he says he does not smoke. It's a disgusting habit, as his teeth are full of sunflower seeds.
Oh, that was so funny. When she thought it was Chew, I thought that was so funny. I was like, it did kind of look like it.
She didn't think it was Chew. She just
Wait,
wanted him to have a place to put his discarded sunflower seeds that wasn't on her desk.
oh, I took it as like she thought it was like tobacco. Like he was like chewing
No,
tobacco.
she just wanted him to have a place to put his sunflower seeds that wasn't on her desk. And an ashtray at the time in the 90's was a common thing to have in your office for people who smoke. It's a
Oh,
common dish that you can discard things into.
oh, I took it as she thought it was like Chew, and that's why she was like, oh.
No.
Wow, wait. I didn't realize that was like so like everyone had ashtrays in the 90's. Like even if you
In the
didn't smoke.
offices, yeah, it wasn't uncommon because there was no smoking. Like there were smoking areas and smoking sections, and like some offices let you smoke. So I mean, it was rare because it was becoming more and more about there was like more and more research about how bad chewing tobacco was for you, and there was a lot of campaigns against smoking in the 90's. But you could smoke in buildings. You could smoke in designated smoking areas, which is stupid because they shared all the same air circulation as the rest of the areas. Like
Yeah.
there was smoking areas. Isn't there still smoking areas in airports? I feel like there might be. I don't remember. Anyway, but like but in a restaurant, the smoking section was right next to the non-smoking section and there's no wall. Like there
Yeah.
was no fan blowing it back over.
Yeah.
You
That would
smoked in
irk me.
bowling alleys? I think bowling alleys still smell like smoke from when you could smoke in them. That's why I don't like bowling alleys, but that's just me.
Oh my God. See, that I would not have liked about living in the 90's. That would irk me. I'd be
So,
like,
I
why?
mean, people still do this where they're like smoking in their car,
Yeah. Or
like with their
especially
kid
with
in
like
the back seat.
children.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they
Mm-mm.
still do this. That was really common back then.
Oh my God.
And like at least there was like a lot more commercials to be like roll your window down, like don't
Yeah.
keep your kid in a closed car.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah,
That's so
I mean, ashtrays, you had an ashtray in your car. You had
what?
well, you had a cigarette lighter in your car, which I still call a cigarette lighter, even though it doesn't light cigarettes when I've had where you put the plug for your phone charger.
Mm-hmm.
That
Yeah.
was a cigarette lighter. It would pull out, and then it wasn't just like a little plastic button. Previously, you would okay. This is gonna be like everybody who's like millennial and Gen X and boomers are gonna be like laughing right now as I'm trying to explain this to you. Okay, so like literally, you know the circle part in your car. You would pull out the little knobby thing. It would come out. It had a metal end to it that would get hot. You would push it down, and hot coils would be there, and you'd use the hot coils to light your cigarette.
I hate that. I hate
And then
everything
there was
about
an
that.
ashtray in your car that you could remove and dump. And I just used it to keep my change in. But that was the thing is when you owned a car, these things were normal in your car. It's not like you got a car for smokers and a car for non-smokers. Like they were normal things in your car because smoking became such a big part of like culture that they just were like, let's build this into I would have to Google the search like the history of like why that became a thing. But yeah, that was built into everything. And you always had to be careful when you pulled out the cigarette lighter not to burn yourself. Because if you're plugging in, like once cell phones became a thing and you had an old car, when you were plugging in your cell phone thing, you'd have to just be careful to like not burn yourself on the cigarette lighter when you took it out.
I see, like, I really don't like that. That makes me very uncomfortable that this was a thing. I
But
don't
that's
like.
why the plug still looks like, or it used to, and now newer cars have an actual like pronged outlet or a USB port
Yeah.
because nobody uses a cigarette lighter anymore. But that's why they were circular for a very long time. And then when cell phones came out, they were like, how do we keep your cell phone charged in the car? And at first it was like you had this phone in a bag and it had a port that would plug into some place that gave electricity, which was the cigarette lighter. So that's why they used that. And then yeah, you had your phone in a bag that you would take with you. And it had to be plugged in. It could only really work, I think, while you were going. I don't think it had like a big onboarding like an onboard battery as much. I think it had to just work while you were going. And like you could talk to people from your phone in your car. You could not leave your car with the phone. I didn't see anybody take it out of their car. You used it in your car as a car phone. And then eventually
Oh,
you had a cell phone and it plugged in with the cigarette lighter.
the heck? See, like, I really don't like yeah, no. No, no. See, like,
It's
I
part of
thought she
life.
thought it was two. Like, what?
No, why would you spit that into an ashtray?
Shoe works? Why would I know?
People spit that into like bottles and cups and stuff.
Oh,
People
that's
don't
even
spit that.
worse.
Nobody would spit that into an ashtray. It'd be really gross to look at.
Wait,
She offered
really?
him an ashtray because it's a dish that she had in her office. All right, let's move on.
I just learned so much about smoking and I dislike
Oh
it even
my God.
more now. What?
It's weird that too, like my no one in my family smoked. Actually, I think it's possible like my stepmom did at one point, and I know my sister did at one point, like, but not for very long, either of them. And but like yeah, no one in my family smoked. So like the fact that I know about this is just how much it was in the culture and
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
'Cause I can't think of anybody else that smoked.
Huh. It's
But
crazy
yeah,
that
we
I
were
didn't know about it because like my entire family basically smokes, like on my mom's side, not on my dad's side,
yeah,
but on my
but
mom's side.
because of how much we were like taught to not like smoking through the commercials and stuff, I think probably the most like judgy generation about smoking because you were like so educated about how bad it was for you,
That's fair.
and commercials were always about smoking and drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I'm probably like an example of because when people smoke, I'm always like,
That's fair.
gross. Bleh.
Yeah,
Also,
it's
it gives me a really bad headache, so please don't smoke around me because I will die.
that's so fair. Yeah. Yeah.
On the football field, I should say, they go down to the football field and Melissa walks him through the crime scene. And Melissa introduces Ace to Roger. Roger says he came highly recommended by Martha. And Ace realizes, oh, yeah, last year the bee, he was referring to her dog that he got back. She was a bee as a female dog. He sees the tracks from the truck from the hauled away dolphin. They showed him the tank that was drained in the morning, and he goes down to root around as the press gets closer. Roger has to chase away the press. He finds a gemstone in the trap, which is a clue. Which
It was pretty. I liked the like orange color. It was pretty.
the elder
It's
millennial in me, who used to put on Blue's Clues for my dogs, was like, "It's a clue that's read in our book." Okay.
yeah.
Um, later, Ace walks into the police station and his weird swagger, and they ask him if he made any good collars lately or were they leashes. The guy, you understood that, right?
Collars like
A collar, like an arrest.
yeah. And then
Okay.
like leashes because he's like saving animals, like finding animals.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to make sure you understood the collar part because
Yeah.
he made
I
it arrest, like an arrest. Okay. Not everybody calls it a collar anymore. So I was like, I don't know how many police procedurals you're watching. Okay, well,
Not
the
a
guy
lot, but I inferred.
Okay, the guy then kills a cockroach and says, "Uh-oh, homicide, Ventura. Now you're gonna have to solve that one." And he says he'd establish a motive. The killer saw the size of the bug's penis and got jealous. And then he said he'd lose 30 pounds of parking his wife. And then when the guy lunged at him, he spun the guy to the ground, hovering him over the bug, and told him to kiss and make up. Now Ace walks over to his friend and pretends to talk out of his butt, like Hannah liked. He's trying to get his info out of his friend on the dolphin case, and his friend tells him Aquata is working the case, and if he'll just go away before his boss gets here, that'd be great. And he continues to be obnoxious. His friend says they have nothing, and they checked on all their leads, nothing unusual, no leads. Get out of here before I get in trouble, and his ass goes to thank him. Well, the boss arrives, and Ace straightens up and says, Holy Testicle Tuesday, and she is pissed. He jokes that he came to confess. He was the second gunman on the grassy knoll. You know what that's from, right?
I have a terrible memory, so
No, that's okay. So, this is before your time. Second gunman on the grassy knoll was from JFK's murder, like the shooting of John F. Kennedy. And there was like a theory that there was a second gunman, that it wasn't just one gunman.
I know like very little about that, and I actually am interested in learning that because I have heard that Kennedy was like great. My grandma was like obsessed with him and thought he was like the hottest person ever. And I was like, oh my
He
God,
was
girl.
a man whore for sure.
Wait,
So
really?
yes. There is a lot of there is a lot of research and history that has been released since that talks about how much he cheated on Jackie and how his father wasn't faithful, so he taught his sons not to be. So, and that was okay. And he like
Oh my God.
they use the family money to like take their mistresses places like to the beach and spend weeks there and stuff like that. And yeah, so but Jackie was like supposed to be the face of like what made him a stand-up politician, like being a married man with children, and like she came from a good family and all these things. So like that's kind of how, yeah. His relationship with Marilyn Monroe, like research that.
Yeah. Okay, I have like
Although
briefly heard of that. I
supposedly
don't know a lot, though.
she dated his brother more than him or something, I guess. I don't know.
What?
So it is a whole thing. It's very confusing. I've watched a lot of documentaries on it and I still don't know what happened, but maybe nobody knows.
Oh my
Well,
God, I had
anyway,
such like a positive perception of him, and now I'm sad. I didn't know he was a
well,
cheater.
very good. He was important during a very important time. During the civil rights movement, you know, he was very important. So I want you to like take everything with a grain of salt because people are complicated and they all play various roles in American history and they all have important parts to play in American history, like the people that we're talking about right now. And they also will have character flaws. So I'm not trying to eradicate like any bad that he did, but also he did a lot of good. So
Yeah. Morally gray. Morally gray.
we're getting really deep in something for Ace Ventura, which is just like
I know, this
Ace
is a very
Okay.
deep episode. I think it's because we're both like mentally dead, so we're like, let's get deep.
Well, she says, spare me the routine, Ventura. She tells him to back off. They'll find the porpoise. And he says it's not a porpoise, it's a dolphin. And she calls him Pet Dick and asks how he would like her to make his life a living hell. And he says he's not ready for a relationship, but thanks for asking. He says he'd give her a call sometime. Is your number still 911? Alrighty then. Now, his friend Emilio is played by rapper and actor Tone Lock, who is known for his role in Heat, Titan AE, and Ferngully. He was also in Blank Check and Space Cowboys. All right, we took a quick break because I had to take my dog out, but Hannah grabbed her new child.
Storm, say hi. Hi, baby. He's trying to like swim away. Okay.
Swim away. It feels like it's wet out. Swim away, swim away. Well, the boss, Lieutenant Louis Einhorn, is played by Sean Young, who is known for her role in Blade Runner 2049, and Dune. She was also in Stripes with Bill Murray and Sugar and Spice. Well, later at a rock show, people are crowd surfing and moshing, and Ace walks in and does the dance that he's like Ed Grimley, which if anybody knows Ed Grimley from SNL and like his own show, Martin Short played Ed Grimley, and it kind of has the same vibes. And people did compare it, but supposedly like Jim Carrey says he didn't pull the character from that, but I will send you a clip of Ed Grimley and you can tell me what you think. Well, he goes downstairs and he gives the password New England clam chowder. White. This hacker misdirects a fleet of whaling vessels, and Ace asks him how to hack into the Acme database services. They do, and he gets a lead on a billionaire with a rare fish collection who is a potential suspect. He's throwing an upcoming party, so Ace Ventura says he needs to get a date. He shows up with Melissa, who's invited as he's a donor to the Miami Dolphins, and she's worried about being embarrassed, which is fair.
Yeah.
I would agree about being embarrassed with Jim Carrey as well.
Yeah.
Well, this guy
Ace gave me the same vibes as Austin Powers. Like they're both like creepy weirdos.
and the wig thing in the end is also an Austin Powers thing.
They're both just weirdos.
Oh, sorry, I'm drinking ginger ale because my stomach was upset earlier. But this guy hobbles over and greets Melissa. She introduces him as Tom Ace. Ace Ventura congratulates him on his success and his smell, which was weird. He mentions people like him and are often getting sued over food poisoning, and then he acts crazy and eats an entire plate of hors d'oeuvres, and then he has to use the bathroom and excuses himself inappropriately, like he has to go be sick. Well, inside the bathroom, he sneaks out the window, makes his way down to the water, and then goes inside an adjacent door. There are fish tanks inside, and he checks the doors looking for the tank with the dolphin. He sees the potential tank, and he climbs up on the ladder to check. Grabbing a bucket of fish, he dangles a fish above the dark water, and a huge shark pops up. He panics and falls backwards into the water, flailing around at the top, and then he seems to be thrashed around. Not having his leg ripped off. So that's weird. Back at the party, guests are waiting for Ace to come out of the only bathroom, which I also thought was weird in such a large building. He comes back out soaking wet with his clothes ripped. The billionaire apologizes and offers him a handshake, and he takes the ring off his hand, dropping it on the ground after looking at it. Melissa lectures Ace back at her apartment for finding a pebble in the tank and then almost costing her her job. He says it's not a pebble. It is a rare triangular cut piece of amber, the exact same stone that was in his ring, but his ring isn't missing a stone, but it was a 1984 Miami Dolphin championship ring, so he needs to find the next one with a missing stone. So he goes around trying to find the guy with the missing stone in his ring. He chases a guy down in his car. He keeps running alongside another former Miami Dolphin. He pulls a guy into a mailbox. He arm wrestles another guy. He keeps trying with the runner. He showers and snaps a towel at a guy to allow the guy to punch him so he can get a better look at the ring. And then one guy signs an item for him, and then he pees next to another guy and stares at his hand holding his stuff. He chloroforms the runner finally to check that ring. Well, Melissa told him it was still probably the animal rights activist group, and Ace does not think so. But he's gone through all the football players he can on his list, and he still doesn't like that answer. He then goes on to tell her that her dog is unhappy and that she's ugly, which I was like, what? I don't understand. He goes in.
She's not like at all. He was.
No,
such a
I don't
weird
know why
guy.
he said that or got defensive. She wasn't even like saying anything really that mean to him, and he was just like off the chain. Well, she goes in and sees that Melissa's unhappy with the phone in her hand, and we learn that Roger leapt to his death from his apartment. Now, Ace shows up on the scene, gets Roger's dog, checks his paws. The dog barks at the lieutenant, and Ace Ventura says animals can sense evil. She tells him off and says he gets it. He wouldn't want someone retracing his steps and pointing out all of the obvious mistakes. She asks him if he thinks this was a suicide, and he says not based on the spot of blood on the railing, and they go and they look at it. Well, he tells her he went out for drinks and he came home not alone, and there was a struggle and he was thrown off the balcony, and she says, oh, if only they didn't need evidence. He points out that the neighbor heard a scream, but if the balcony door was closed, they wouldn't have heard the scream on the way down. The scream came from inside the apartment, and the murderer shut the screen door after he left. He calls them the hers, and they kicked him out of the crime scene. And this was the scene where they he's screaming, shuts the door, and he's still screaming, but you can't. And then opens the door, he's still screaming, and so anyway.
Yeah, and then he hypes himself up after and is like, yes, I'm right. Like, not even knowing he's right. He does that
Yes.
after everything too. I was like, dude, how do you know you're right? Like, you were, but calm down.
Well, he and Melissa leave. He needs receipts to find out who got the rings. Melissa tells him that that was impressive, and she suggests that he should have joined the police force. But he likes animals, and he says he understands them. And he had a dream at 12 of being chased by a dog with rabies. He tells her to check the back of his neck, and he barks at her, and then they have a moment. He sees a photo of the team, but with one extra player that he didn't have on his sheet. And it was Ray Finkle, the kicker. He was added to the roster mid-season. He cost the Dolphins the game, having missed the kick in the final, but he got a ring anyway. They read up on him and heard he went back to his hometown. Now he tells Melissa it's not safe at her apartment and then takes her home to his apartment and then sleeps with her while all the animals watch, which was just weird. Later,
So weird. They were like all just like, that was so weird. That's so
yep.
weird. I did not like
Later, he takes off in a car to Collier County to track down the guy and pulls up an old graffitied shack. A guy with a gun answers the door and asks Ace what he knows about Ray Finkle, and Ace claims to be a Finkle fan. And the woman struggles to take the gun out of her husband's hands, and she says she's happy to meet her son's fan. She has him sit down and says Ray will be home soon. She's going to go make some cookies, and he's excited. But the dad says that his son escaped from a mental institution like 8 years ago, and they haven't seen him since. He goes to Ray's room with his mom. It's a tribute to how much he hates Dan Marino. Like, that's the entire room. And all because Dan Marino did the laces out. In the video,
the Target?
there's even a video. It's a video of Ray missing the kick. Well, Ace calls Melissa to call the police to watch Dan Marino, and he starts to drive back. And Dan Marino is doing a commercial for isotonic gloves. The football players end up like tackling him kind of in the commercial, but then they end up taking him and kidnapping him out to a vehicle as Ace kind of accidentally takes out the cops that were chasing after them with his vehicle, and then he follows the truck. He caught a bullet with his teeth and then rolls his car and lives to drive it again. So very
how is this man alive? That was what I was thinking. Like
it ruins the sense of suspended reality. So well, the press knows now. And they're peppering the lieutenant with questions, and no one anymore with the police is allowed to talk to the press. Ace Ventura is in her office. She tells him he better be gone by the time she leaves the bathroom. He says he solved the case, Ray Finkle, and recaps the whole story about Finkle. Finkle's number was given to the Dolphins, so he probably took it too seriously. She says congrats, then tries to make out with him. He pushes her off because he claims it doesn't do anything for him, even though it kind of did. And then the sergeant walks in and she kicks him out and tells him to leave everything to the cops. And Ace says he's still finding Snowflake. Now Melissa is back at her place, and for some reason she was not safe going there before, but she's safe now.
Yeah.
So
we know what he wanted. We know what he wanted.
Ace stops over and says, "You have to commit me," and she takes her brother Larry, him, to a facility that Rick, or that the whatever his name was at before. He's fully wearing a tutu and pretending to run a button hook pattern in slow motion. I'd commit him, to be honest, but they are willing to commit him. He keeps pretending to think he's a football player. The doctor asks if he has a long history of mental illness. And Melissa says, as long as she's known him, he's had mental illness. So he continues the tour with Melissa and leaves Ace behind so Ace can kind of snoop around. He breaks into a storage facility and spots a box of Finkle stuff with Dan pot holders and a diary of laces out everywhere. A guy almost comes in the storage room and he tries to hide himself inside the box. So like, there's a lot of other things to hide behind, but he tries to get inside this box. He finds a newspaper article about the missing body of Lois Ironhorn. Now, Ace's buddy finds a letter to Lois in her desk signed Love Roger, and he calls and tells Ace. Now, Ace tries to come to a connection about Finkle and Einhorn and Finkle. He starts to call himself a loser, and then his dog lays on a picture of Finkle, making it look like he has long hair. Einhorn is Finkle. Now, this is the part that doesn't age well. He overly freaks out about making out with her, and she's actually a man. Honestly, it's stupid, and I don't really care to describe it in detail because it was just like dumb.
It was so stupid.
He follows Einhorn back with Dan Marino. The football players are tackling him as Einhorn shows up. Ace follows her back there. She says, I love Super Bowl Sunday where dreams are made and crushed. And Dan tells her if she wants tickets, she's going about it the wrong way. She then kicks the football, laces out, and then offers him refreshments and kisses him and leaves. Now, Ace climbs up there. The football players then feed, they kind of chuck the ball at the dolphin. They feed the dolphin, and then they like throw the ball right at him, and he splashes them. Now, Ace creeps around and knocks one of the guys, the goons out, the football player goons out, and then the other guy goes to help him, and Ace like clobbers him with his heavy metal thing on a rope. I think it was like a gas connector for putting gas in your boat. Ace tries to untie Dan, and Einhorn draws a gun with her phone, and Ace tells her to be careful. She could develop a tumor in time, which was a huge concern with cell phones and putting them to your head and having them to your head all the time. It's still a concern with cell phones, which is why people promote putting it on speaker and not sleeping next to it, is that you could develop a brain tumor.
That makes sense, yeah. Yeah, I've heard about that.
Because radio waves next to your brain are not always good. So Einhorn calls for backup and says Ace Ventura is the kidnapper, so they call it out on the radio. Melissa asks Emilio if he's in trouble, and Emilio says that he can get out of it like he always does. But Dan Marino and Ace argue over who should die first, and she shoots the TV where they kind of show her lost kick, and he attacks her. They fight. Now, Lois calls for Ace to be shot. Melissa holds Emilio hostage to kind of keep Ace from being shot, and Ace tells everyone that Lois is Ray Finkle. He tries to take off her wig, just like later in Austin Powers, but it's not a wig. He pulls out rips apart her shirt to kind of show her boobs, and those are real too. He pulls off her skirt, and they don't see anything, and Dan Marino calls Ace back over. Ace spins her around to find that she's tucked her penis, and everyone starts spitting because she's probably made out with all of them. Again, doesn't age well, because that's not a big deal. She lunges at Ace. He flips her into the water, steps on her fingers, and finds the ring with the missing stone. Lahu is a her. Now Dan rides back with Ace to the game, which I don't understand why he wouldn't have ridden in a better vehicle than just Ace's vehicle, but whatever. Yeah. Then Snowflake makes it back to the game, and Dan Marino is back on the field. Melissa kisses Ace as he sees a white pigeon on top of the Gatorade coolers. The Eagles mascot scares the bird away, so Ace decides to fight him as they're like announcing and congratulating Ace for his hard work. And then we hear a song by Tone Lock about Ace Ventura, and that's the end. So, what did I miss?
Let's see. Okay. I said, I'm just going to read some of them because I think they're funny. Man's had a whole skunk and otter. What the F? I totally swear in my notes, guys. Like, penguins. These are my... I love penguins, though, so the penguins were not in my head.
Iguana.
Like, iguanas are sick. Iguanas are sick. I love iguanas. Those, yeah, they change color. I love iguana. Yeah, no.
Like, it's not a chameleon. It's an iguana.
Oh, I thought they looked the same. Aren't they both, like...
Chameleon's this big, and iguana is like this big. What are you talking about?
Wait, chameleons aren't, like, big?
No. Have you not seen a go to a zoo? This is not...
Maybe I don't know as much about animals as I thought. My parents are going to watch this. They're going to be like,
are we going to have to be like Millennial meets Gen Z?
Animal edition. That would be so fun. We should so do that. I would love that.
Oh my gosh. Well, the next movie will be Animal Edition. Just kidding.
Yes. Okay, so I said, how did that move up? So the guy he was delivering the package to, I said he looks like David Harbour from Stranger Things. I know he's not, but I assume you know who David Harbour is. Doesn't he kind of look like him? I was
No.
like, really? I thought he looked like him. I was like, David
No.
Harbour. And then
Just
I Googled
because like
it.
David Harbour looks grumpy? Like, is that the only reason? He
They
doesn't
have
have the same
like
hair
RBF.
or the same face.
It's like
They
the same like facial expression, like the same RBF. Like the
they're just both
you know?
grumpy. It's not the
Yeah.
same at all.
I don't know.
Put their faces next to each other and you will realize they don't look like anything alike. It's fine. It's fine. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so I said, I'm so sorry, but the scene where Ace was pulling his butt apart and having it pretend to talk was so funny. I said, why is
No.
this give creep era? He's a little weird. And then in parentheses, Ace. We already talked about this. They're effing with the animals watching. WTF. Finkle's mom, when she said, I don't even remember when this was, but when she said, die of gonorrhea or die of gonorrhea or die. There was a part where she said that. I can't remember what it was, but I thought that was funny. I wrote down about him catching a bullet with his dang teeth. And then when he started being like, man, I'm so tired of being right, and then like making that creepy, like, you know? Like, I was tired of that. That was annoying.
Space.
Yeah, no. I loved Melissa. She was great. I liked the romantic aspect of this, but like this time I didn't like the relationship as much, and I thought you would like find that interesting. He was weird to her. Like, yes, Austin Powers was really weird too, but I don't know. I just didn't like Ace. Ace irked me more than Austin did. He was just like at least Austin's little dance was funny. Ace was just weird. He was just like a creepazoid and like literally like undressed well, a man, but undressed like a whole like woman, or so everyone thought. Like that's creepy. That is so creepy. Oh, when he was in the tank that the dolphin got stolen from. We've talked about this before, I believe. When he was like looking at it and it like showed him looking at it from the other side and it was like the fishbowl lens. Haven't we talked about how like 90's is like very fishbowl lens? Like that was like a thing. I feel like we have at some point. Whether it's on the
I don't know.
I don't know. I thought that was cool. I was like, okay, fishbowl lens. I love fishbowl lenses. I think that's so cool. And I used to be like obsessed with trying to take photos like that and never could ever. Still have not gotten a good fishbowl lens photo, but I will one day.
You just have to put the fish eye. It's a fish eye filter.
Wait, really? There's like a
There's
filter
a
for it?
lens that says, in some of the cameras, there's a lens that says fish eye. You take a fish eye photo.
I'm gonna make his face. Yeah, I'm gonna do that.
Uh,
I'm gonna
It was
start doing that now.
it was supposed to be like the view of like, oh, because he was looking at the hole in the tank and he was like making that face. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's supposed to be like looking through a hole, like peephole would also make a fish, makes it look like a fish eye
Yeah.
lens look. And so yeah, I mean it was like pop culture-y, I guess, in the 90's, but not super often. I don't know. It was in music videos and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel
That's
like
what I
No
thought.
Doubt video.
Okay. No, I just thought that was really cool because I'm like obsessed with fishbowl lens photos, even though I've never taken one.
Fish
But I'm
eye. It's a
fish
fish eye lens. It's not a fish bowl.
It
I mean, I
looks
guess
like
it makes them look like they're in a fish bowl, but it's a fish eye lens.
wait, let's okay. I'll look into this later and see if my camera has a fisheye lens. Okay. Um the bathroom part where Ace is trying to look at one of the Miami Dolphin players' rings and the guy gets all weird and like also looked at him and like, you know, he was like trying to like flirt a little bit or whatever. That was like I thought that was so funny. I was like, Ace, you
But
did this to
also,
yourself.
like, it was supposed to be at the time cringy, but it's not anymore. It didn't age well.
But yeah, which is kind of messed up because I feel like I don't know, as you said, I his reaction to kissing Finkle portraying a woman was like kind of annoying because like dude, guys kiss guys all the time, even if they're not gay. Like it's just like
This is like the typical like women could be sluts like we saw in the first part of the movie. They could be the classic girlfriend who doesn't fully know anything and just kind of goes along with stuff. They could be like old, like an old lady, like the old lady neighbor, or they could be a man. Like those are your choices in these movies because this is early 90's and it's just like they don't give women good parts in these movies. So,
Uh,
I mean, it was played by a woman that like was outed as being a man, but I don't know, it's just weird.
yeah, I don't like that. I don't know. Overall, though, good movie. I like the animal aspect. I like dolphins.
Seven
Dolphins
out
are
of 10 though. I feel like that's high, but okay.
like it gets a
It's
7 out of 10 because it interested me. You know what I mean? Like,
no, you're just like the part where he talked out of his butt, which makes me want to tell you you should watch the sequel if you like that part because it only gets stupider.
I love stupid movies though, but like I didn't like how creepy he was. Like I liked stupid stuff,
And you
and like
might want to see the second movie.
you said, it's Nature
But
Calls, right?
yeah, when nature calls. Well, our next watch is a little bit sad as Sam O'Neill just passed away. Literally a couple days ago. So this is really weird and sad timing because this was already on our schedule. This has been on our schedule all year. But we are watching Jurassic Park. So maybe it's a good tribute to losing him. It's a sci-fi adventure story about a billionaire who clones dinosaurs from prehistoric DNA to create a remote island theme park. When a corrupt employee sabotages the security system to steal embryos, the power fails, and the prehistoric creatures escape their enclosures, forcing the trapped visitors to fight for their survival. Now, this is currently a rental, but it is obviously worth the $4. And Hannah has seen this one before, right?
Yes, yes,
Yes.
yes, yes. Yeah,
Okay.
when I was younger, I saw it. I like don't remember it as much as we know. My memory is like shot at any given point in time ever. But I know I saw it and I remember thinking it was good. I just don't remember like specific details, but I know I had to have watched this with my dad because this is like one of his favorite
I'm
movies.
so glad we're gonna rewatch then that you haven't seen it recently because this is a classic.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm
We
excited.
will now, our next episode, we'll be talking about the movie. We will also talk dinosaurs because I'm gonna nerd out for a hot minute. Although I
God.
am not a dino expert, I will tell everyone right now, I am not Ross Geller. I just know a handful of things since this movie came out that we have learned about dinosaurs. And we will talk a little bit about that on our next episode. So,
Wait, I'm so
Jurassic
excited.
Park. Here we come. The
Okay.
first one. Don't watch, I mean, you can watch the other ones, but we're only talking about Jurassic Park, the original, the one that shook history to its core. The culture was a hard stop when we were like, oh, Jurassic Park, and the world was never the same again. So,
I'm so excited. Okay, wait. Before we go, I need to know, in honor of Jurassic Park, what is your favorite dinosaur? Just like a little intro to your dinosaur talk.
um, okay, so first of all, I think that the Loch Ness Monster was a plesiosaur. So I kind of have a love for plesiosaurs because all of the sightings looked exactly like a plesiosaur when they like described it. However,
Okay.
supposedly there is no Loch Ness Monster because they've like sonared the entire lake, the loch. Um, so like part of me is like, I love me a plesiosaur for that potential purpose. I am a big lover of anything that is like a brontosaurus, which there were a bunch of different brontosaurus type. There's like a brontosaurus, an argentinosaurus, a patagotitan, a brachiosaurus, a brachytherosaurus, blah blah blah. Whatever that word was. It was a bra. That was it
The
was
names
what
are
that's what it was. It
fun.
was a bra. I also grew up on Land Before Time, so like to not like a brontosaurus would be like impossible because the main character in the cartoon Land Before Time was Littlefoot and he was a brontosaurus. So, okay, first of all, I just said bruh, and like literally there's a video that says nature's bruh moment. So,
That was like manifestation. What the heck? Psychic.
but yeah, anything like I'm loving me a big leaf eater, you know? I'm
Okay.
loving me a giant mammoth of a thing that like maybe possibly turned into a blue whale later.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's pretty cool.
Any large leaf eating thing was my I'm not into the carnivores. I never
That's fair. That's fair.
okay.
Okay, I
And
get you. Mine
anything that
is pterodactyl.
like shoots stuff at you? No, you can take a number. Go away.
Yeah, that's
Um
fair. Okay. 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 Cool.
I I do like the look of a triceratops because they have that thing.
Yeah,
Um,
those are super pretty. From what
however,
Google says.
for super pretty. I like how
From
you're
what
like, yeah,
Google
I've seen
says.
them in the live. I've
I
seen
am
the
a
real.
dinosaur hunter.
Um, I really think that crocodiles are like the creepiest of the essentially a dinosaur. Um, but yeah. So yeah, we're gonna talk dinosaurs. I'm excited. I'll do some improving of my knowledge because I really can't remember the one that I was like super excited about.
I like the flying ones. Pterodactyls.
No, are you kidding?
No, I actually like
Those
I
are
used
so
to
terrifying.
No, I love those. I mean, obviously I like personally know them. My personal close friend, the pterodactyl. But, he's in my house actually. He's flying around.
No, no, that was terrifying. Like it had teeth and like looked like a. We'll talk about it. We'll talk
Okay.
about it next. Well, that's it for this episode. We're gonna stop talking dinosaurs and we'll talk dinosaurs next week. But thanks for hanging out with us and rewinding the 90's. One movie, one show, one chaotic conversation at a time. If this episode brought back a memory, if you think Hannah should not be freaked out by otters, if this introduced you to something new, like putting your penguins in the refrigerator, or if it made you want to revisit a classic, make sure that you follow, subscribe wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss the next episode. Feel free to argue with me on Instagram, Facebook, Patreon, wherever you get your podcasts. If you disagree about some of the movies that I mentioned, or you love Nick Cage, we can talk about that. But come find us on all of those things, YouTube, for all the behind the scenes moments, the extra conversations that don't make the episode. We're going to do a comparison of the guy from Stranger Things and the grumpy guy in this movie because I don't think they look alike at all. But until next time, be kind, call Hannah a butthole, and rewind.
Thanks for listening or watching, everybody.